today's episode, we have a very exciting guest. For those of you just joining the podcast, we are AI Growth Solutions and specialize in helping businesses scale their revenue over the next 12 months. So if you want to learn how to take your business to the next level, make sure to stick around. And if you're interested in a free growth consultation, just drop the word growth in the DMs. All right, if you go ahead and introduce yourself and your company.
Thank you, Jeff. Thank you for having me. I am Rathin Vyas, co-founder of Enerco Energy. I founded this company 16 years back after returning from the UK, where I was working with British Telecom. What prompted me to start an energy company, despite being from a telecom background, what I realized is that in the UK, where energy is not a big problem or a big challenge, they were still very careful with how they spend. They were very judicious in their energy usage. So on one hand, we have a first world country like the United Kingdom, which is so judicious and careful about using their energy. And on the other hand, we have a country like India, where energy is, of course, a big challenge, both generation and distribution. But a bigger challenge was pilferage, leakage, and things like that. So I decided that I would start something where we can assist companies, especially manufacturers, on how they can reduce their energy consumption through energy efficiency, energy optimization, and of course, energy conservation. So that's how I started up Enerco Energy in 2009. And so far, I'm glad to say that we have saved over 1.5 billion units of energy.
Right. Can you share a bit about your role and how that fits into the company?
So I'm actually, I'm one of the co-founders. I started this company with my father. And I've been, I would say, involved more in the day-to-day activities with related to business development and operations. We have a dedicated team of engineers and auditors who are responsible for the actual groundwork, but the overall management and the business development aspects, those are with me.
What does a typical day look like for you?
A typical day, okay, it's very interesting. I would say 80% of my time is, I would say, in maintaining client relationships, in marketing, business development, and rest 20% is, of course, team meetings and proposals, and so on and so forth. So most of my time is dedicated to taking more of strategic decisions, and of course, things which are in immediate future that we need to look into. So that's how I would look at my typical day.
Are you seeing any major shifts in the industry?
Oh, yes, of course. So if I just go back a bit when we started this up, we had to really educate the customer on what energy saving, what sustainability and renewable energy is all about. This was back in 2009. Solar was totally unheard of, especially in a country like India, where renewable energy and solar photovoltaic was totally unheard of. In fact, the first policy came in after we started this company in 2009. And there was this phase where we had to educate the customers about what is sustainability, what is renewable energy, why it is important for the future of the country as well as for the planet. Now, what I see a gradual shift in the last few years, and I would say typically, as we all know, before lockdown and after lockdown. So there's this timeline which we look at now, before lockdown and after lockdown. After lockdown, I would say companies and countries and even governments have become very serious about sustainability. So one major shift that we are seeing is that industries are now very well educated, thanks to, of course, Google and other AI tools. They know what is required. They know what sustainability is all about. So we don't have to go in and educate them about what sustainability is. We just have to tell them how to achieve that goal, how they could do, what are the various paths that they could do it. If there are any leakages in their system, how do you improvise the systems that they have? So one major shift that we are seeing is acceptability of sustainability related solutions, especially in this part of the world and overseas in the Middle East, where of course energy is plenty. But even there, we are seeing a major shift where even though energy is plenty, they would still want to look at sustainability as a very big goal.
How would you say that's impacted your business and your growth?
Sure. So if I say that sustainability has been like we've been working on a lot of sustainability related projects like energy saving for energy intensive industries like steel, cement, aluminium, and conventional power plants. So now that they know that there is this awareness, they are more welcoming to our solutions. I still recall one of the incidents where I had just started this company, and I had to wait for hours at end just to meet the decision maker or the key influencer of the plant or the manufacturing unit, to be told that, we don't need this. Why do we need this? Things are going on. It's business as usual. Okay, we might save a few bucks, but not at the cost of installing something new. The shift that we have seen and how it's helped our business is now they're more accepting, and they say that, okay, we know it works. You tell us how will you help us vis-a-vis how another company would help us. So the market has grown. When we talk about renewable energy, similar thing has happened. The costs have fallen to almost 70% in India in the last 15 to 16 years since the time we started up. So cost, of course, is one factor that we have seen has played a big driving role in the terms of acceptability, because everyone talks about the solution making a lot of business sense or economic sense. So in that much, it has really helped us, where one, awareness has kicked in, two, the commercial viability has happened, and three, the technology adaptability. When we talk about technology adaptability, earlier solar photovoltaic, everyone was skeptical. Oh, would this work? Does it really generate power? You know, what if it is actually, just another, gimmick? But over a period of time, what we've realized is when things really started working, then people started accepting it more. The costs have fallen, the technology adaptability has gone up. So these three factors have really helped our business grow.
What's been working well for the business right now? What's been frustrating?
Well, working well, like I said, of course, we don't have to educate the customer, although we still adopt a very consultative selling approach. And this is the instruction that I've given to our entire team, that we don't have to, sell ourselves, or we don't have to sell Enerco as a brand. What we need to do is solve a particular problem for the customer. If a customer says, hey, I have a huge energy consumption, go and ask him more questions. Okay, your energy consumption is high. What are you doing about it? Is this something you have done in the last 6 years, or 6 months, or 12 months, in the last 2 years? What have you done? If you haven't done something, is there something that we could propose? How about we doing a free audit or an assessment of your systems? Would that really help? And once you are convinced that we are the right people or the right choice, then we come into the picture and get formally engaged with you. So what has worked well is, of course, that the acceptability has gone up. But on the same time, the challenges that come up is that right now there are too many players. So the customer thinks, okay, you're just one of them, till the time they see our profile and the kind of customer feedback that we have. But till that time, it is our duty to convince them that, okay, we are the right people, and we have these kind of solutions, and these are the kind of industries that we're working with. And I'm happy to inform you, Jeff, that we have been working with a lot of big names in the industries, like Skechers, which is a very well-known, globally accepted MNC. We are working with RHI Magnesita, another very well-known Austrian company. We're working with Bonfiglioli, an Italian company. So the acceptability goes up because these are the people who have trusted you. Right now, we're working with one of the largest food making company in the world, and they're setting up a huge project in India. Due to confidentiality reasons, I can't reveal their name, but they're coming up with a huge project in India. So they want to go for green. They want to go green and all the green solutions right from day one of operations. So that is one of the things that really, makes us pat our back. So that is something that is really working well. And the challenges, as I mentioned.
If you had to automate one part of your process, what would that be?
Oh, well, that's an interesting one. If I had to automate one thing, then I would definitely say it would be the part from getting a lead and converting it into a customer. But largely that is all manually driven, because the customer expects that personal touch. As much as I would love to do automate that process, the systems will help us in automating it. But there has to be a human touch into that, because especially back in India, the customer still expects that, you will be meeting face to face. Of course, thanks to lockdown, everyone now knows about Zoom and Google Meet and Teams. But before lockdown, it was very different. each time we had to go to a customer and at least have 4 to 5 meetings before he's convinced about us and our solution offering. So that's one thing which I would say has changed to some extent, where the customer is now more acceptable to digital meetings. But yeah, automating that would be really great. I mean, that would be awesome, because that would reduce the business decision-making cycle for us.
Is there a part of the job that makes you think like, man, there's got to be a better way to do this?
Well, I keep thinking a lot. I have to. I have no option, but I have to, because I have to. We keep thinking about growth, both myself and my partner. So one of the aspects that I look at, where we have to really see if we can try to increase our marketing funnel. You know, that is where I see that big challenge as far as internal operations are concerned. Of course, there are external challenges, but internally, that is one aspect where I feel that if you have a larger pipeline, then things would be better. Because to tell you something very honestly, we are very good at converting. So once we know that customer is looking for a sustainability solution, and he has seen our solutions, the kind of background that we come from, the kind of clients that we work with, then he's largely convinced. He or she is largely convinced. But if we try to increase that funnel, that is something that I see as one of the challenges that we're facing right now.
Hypothetically, if I gave you a magic wand to fix one thing in the business right now that's either holding the business back or slowing it down, what would that one thing be?
Well, I would say we would want to move much more faster. They say that if you are not breaking things, you're not moving fast enough. So we would want to move faster. I would want more, I would say, people who are highly skilled to join the team, who can take the company to the next level. So if I have a magic wand, I would want to delegate more. That's one problem that I have. I try to micromanage at times. That's one of the things. But now I've slowly realized that delegation is one of the key areas for growth. A lot of people have already talked about it. I was reading Michael Dell's book. Of course, it's an old one, but he says that delegation is the key to the growth. So that's one thing where I feel that if I get good people, if I get someone whom I believe can take and drive things, that'll be like a magic wand that I would want to have.
Gotcha. All right, last few questions here. Where do you want the business to be in the next 6 to 12 months?
Sure. So we are right now in the process of creating a few tools, and also a framework where a customer can look at sustainability as a wholesome thing, that requires a change in mindset. Right now, everyone's talking about, if we talk about decarbonization, scope 1, scope 2, scope 3, but everyone's just focused on scope 1 more, which is the direct procurement of electricity, or scope 2. But scope 3 is largely untouched, because that's one of the most challenging aspects. So what we are working on a digital tool where the customers can themselves come and type in some numbers and data on our website and get an initial free assessment of where they're lagging. So that is one thing where we are seeing that our business like ours, would be seeing a lot of traction. So we'll be looking at that in the next 6 to 12 months, that tool rolling out rapidly. We have already given out some pilot to a few of our customers. So in the next 6 to 12 months, we see that taking a center stage of most of our operations that we're working on. Secondly, about the framework, we want to have a standardized framework. When we talk about framework, it is not just about tools or any machine generated, I would say, code. Rather, we wanted more of a customized and a personalized approach, but with a standard framework. So when we talk about that, we're talking about entire thing, right from what is entering your premises to what is going out of your premises. That includes the raw material that you consume, the energy that you consume, the goods that the inherent carbon content in the goods, and once the finished goods go out of the door, what is the carbon content? So how can we try to reduce that carbon content as much as possible when it's entering your premises and when the finished goods are exiting your premises. So that is one framework that we're working on. Still early days, but I do see that thing picking up at least 6 to 12 months or 6 to 8 months down the line. So as far as our business is concerned, we'll be focused on a whole 360-degree view of sustainability, decarbonization, net zero, and RE100. RE100 is becoming very important. So all these form, I would say, the basic components of net zero and decarbonization.
Can you think of one thing that's made a really big impact on the business?
One thing, of course, so during initial days, I used to do a lot of cold calling to the customers, and out of 20, only one would get converted and convinced that okay, he's the guy. He might just do something good for us. And we tried that way a lot. What really helped us was getting some really big names in the industry who entrusted us with their work. Conglomerates like Reliance Industries in India. It's a very big name. It's a household name. When they gave us the opportunity, I think it was a huge opportunity which helped us in propelling our growth. Some other names like Vedanta, and of course, other names like Aditya Birla, Ambuja Cement. So what happened is once we started getting these big names as our client list, then the others were convinced, okay, if they're working for them, because these companies, trust me, they have a very rigorous vendor shortlisting process. Sometimes they'll have a global tender even for very small jobs. So that is one thing where getting these big names as our clientele helped us a lot. Secondly, we always focus on sustainability as a whole, not just in India, but also overseas. So we've been very active in the Middle East when we talk about overseas. We've worked in Oman, UAE, Bahrain. We're right now in talks with Saudi Arabian companies. So what happens is once your acceptability goes up, you see that a lot of companies then say, okay, these are the guys, and they can be trusted with large scale projects, which could be millions of dollars. And they are the guys who have the technical know-how, the project management skills, and the resources to deploy what we are looking for. So that has really helped us.
Any tips you'd like to share geared towards entrepreneurs or business owners?
I would say that patience is one thing which one should have. I know it's a cliche, it sounds like a cliche, but especially in this industry, in this sector, patience is one thing which one should have. Because, like I said, out of 20, 25 clients, we would just get one converted. And even the buying cycle could be long. So that patience is required. Secondly, I would say persistence, because if after, I would say 1 or 2 years of trying something, if you're tired, unless your product or solution is really bad, trust me, you would start getting that feeling after 2 years that, okay, now things have started moving on. It wouldn't happen that after 2 years or 3 years, if you're still stuck, if you're working on something which is extremely futuristic, then it's a different story. But you should know that your product or service has a market fit, at least at some stage where you don't get so disenchanted that you don't want to work anymore. Rather, you should be having a product or a service fit which is actually acceptable in the market. It could take 1 or 2 years or max 3 years, but you should keep that flame burning, that persistence should be there. So these two things I would say would really make a difference to anyone who would want to start today. In fact, I was just thinking about it myself today. If I were to start up today and take this company and start up and how to grow, I would have had so many tools at my disposal. AI is like, it's not just a cliche, but AI is doing wonders. It can, you have information at your tip. You can create data sets. You can create reports within minutes. That tool wasn't available to us. We were still relying on traditional way of marketing, which was either cold calling and reaching the customer side, trying to get an appointment, waiting there for hours, or sometimes email marketing. Now, even that is out because of a lot of can spam restrictions and things like that. LinkedIn still works up to some extent. But if someone has to start up to bit today, then patience, persistence, and use of technology. These three things he or she has to look into.
All right, would you like to share some of your company contact information?
Sure. I can be reached out on RV, that is my initials, at the enercoenergysolutions.com. My website is enercoenergysolutions.com, or you could just type Enerco Energy, ENERCO. In fact, that's the name that I came up with. ENER stands for energy, CO stands for company. So Enerco Energy, if you just Google it up, you'll definitely find us.
All right, thank you so much.
Great, Jeff. Thank you so much. And I appreciate the opportunity to discuss with you. And I'm always reachable whenever you want me to have further discussions.
Thank you.
Great. Thank you.